Now that we have finished casting on the thumb of our mitt and we have knit across one section back and forth as I showed you how to do the cast on in the last video, I want to show you how we are going to pick up stitches along this edge to create this seamless connection here. We did use the backward loop cast on method, which is normally not my favorite, but the benefit for this is there's not very much structure in this cast on, and so we are not going to have a bulky sort of seam here on this edge. So in order to pick up our stitches, you are going to have, you still have the 10 stitches from the other side of your thumb on one needle. These stitches on this side, you can go ahead and cut your yarn, leave a 6-inch tail. We'll be weaving that in later. And we are going to pick up with a separate needle and using our working yarn. Leave a 6-inch tail on this side, and we are simply going to pick up stitches along this edge. Again, because you don't have a lot of structure in this cast on, it can be a little bit challenging. I like to look for those letter V's, trace that row of knit stitches up to the top here, and we're picking up stitches under, make sure it's just under 2 strings to make sure you don't end up with something that has a bulky seam. And then simply lay your working yarn across and pull it through. We do want to do this looking at the right side, the knit side. And we are just going to pick up 10 stitches across, 1 in each of our 10 cast on stitches. So under 2 strings, yarn goes around, pull it through. So pick up 10 stitches across here, and that is going to bring us to the stitches of our thumb that are already on our needle. It does get a little bit awkward as you get close to those thumb stitches, just because that other needle that's holding those stitches is kind of in your way. So you can push that down just a little bit if that makes life easier for you. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So we have 1 stitch left to pick up. You'll notice that you've got a little gap here. So when you pick up that last stitch, you're probably going to want to try to get under a couple of different strings. Lay your yarn across and pull it through, and then just check that picking up that stitch has closed up that gap. And then you're going to knit across to the 10 stitches that are already on your needle for your thumb. This is why it's convenient to just leave that other needle in there. So knit across to those 10 stitches, and we are going to repeat the exact same thing, picking up 10 stitches down the other side once we have finished with these thumb stitches. Okay, so let's spread things out so you can see what we've got going. You have the thumb of our mitt. You have the top and bottom there. We've already created the fabric for one side of our mitt, and we have just picked up stitches along the top here. And you'll see, because of that nice, thin, unstructured cast on, we don't have anything that looks like a seam here. And even when we turn it into the inside, we don't have a big bulky line like if we had done a different cast on style. So this is the one and only application that I am familiar with that I actually prefer the backward loop cast on. And you can see even when the entire mitt is finished, you can't really see any kind of a bulky seam there on that edge. Once we have finished picking up stitches along these 10, we are simply going to work these 30 stitches, the 20, or the 10 across the top, the 10 for the thumb, and the 10 for the bottom. We're going to work those 30 stitches back and forth, knit a whole row, purl a whole row, until the mitt is as long as we need it to be to go around our hand. Your pattern is going to give you a number of inches depending on your hand size. But we do not have to work these pieces evenly, so we don't have to make the finished glove have a front piece that is a front piece and a back piece that both end right there. We're actually going to be done with the knitting on this part. We just needed to knit enough that we had enough fabric to be able to pick our stitches up on. These stitches are just going to stay there, and they're going to be grafted when the whole mitt is completed. So this piece is going to be much longer so that together they will go all the way around our hand. Because we're grafting and we're not sewing a seam, we can put our graft in any place we want to. So our mitt is going to end up being grafted right about here. So you'll have just an inch or two of fabric on one side, and then we'll have all the rest of the fabric on the other side. And join me in the next video to see how to graft those pieces together.